You're watching ChillyBoy Productions. I'm Larry ChillyBoy Chillson, and this is my review for The Brutalist. Now, before we get into this review, make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so that you can chill with me on each and every one of my latest videos. The Brutalist is a 2024 historic drama directed by Brady Corbet. After escaping post-war Europe, visionary architect Laszlo Toth arrived in America to rebuild his life, his career, and his marriage. On his own in a strange new country, Laszlo settles in Pennsylvania, where the wealthy and prominent industrialist Harrison Lee von Buren recognizes his talents. The film stars Adrian Brody, Felicity Jones, Guy Pearce, and Joe Alwyn. So I was able to view The Brutalist at the 2024 Denver Film Festival, as it did serve as the final film to screen at this year's festival. The Brutalist was part of the special presentation track this year, and yeah, I was really excited to check this out. The film has been getting lauded with praise after praise. Adrian Brody has been pegged as the frontrunner for Best Lead Actor. The Brutalist itself is anticipated to get a ton of Academy Award nominations. So yeah, I was really excited to see this. And inevitably, for usually multiple films, I was a bit underwhelmed when it came to The Brutalist. Yeah, I'd say this definitely categorizes as overhyped. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, one aspect of the film that was not overhyped is the performance from Adrian Brody. Honestly, performances top to bottom are all top tier. However, Adrian Brody is the center of it all, and he is absolutely fantastic in this film. Now, Brody has always delivered in the acting department. He brings it in pretty much every film, but my goodness, what a moving, wonderful performance from him. Felicity Jones is also fantastic in this film, really the heart of the second half of the movie. She is amazing. Guy Pearce, first of all, looks damn good here. But he also delivers an amazing performance, as does Joe Alwyn as this horrific, wealthy son. But Guy Pearce really pulls off this balance of rich man with his hand out, offering kindness, but with something insidious just under the veneer. He nailed it. The film is also gorgeous by and large. The cinematography is beautiful. The soundtrack mixed with the score is also very well done. The editing is very well done. Usually I really dislike like title cards interfering, but for one, the title cards looked amazing. I loved the design of them. But two, they're infrequent enough and they make sense where they're placed. And I think there's something interesting at the core of this film. It's about an immigrant working towards the American dream and really having to show and really trying to showcase what that looks like and the kind of nitty-gritty, grimy parts of that, and particularly the way you have to interact with wealthy people while you do this and how that relationship actually presents itself. But particularly in the first half of this film, we really get this foreboding sense of doom. Something bad is just, you can feel something dark just off screen closing in and closing in and closing in on you. And I thought that was all handled very, very well. Unfortunately, though, the payoff leads us right into the negatives with the Brutalist. So let's go ahead and talk about what doesn't work so well with the film. Well, we're going to just pick up right there with the payoff. After we come back from the intermission, the film really just lets that impending doom, that tension it had so beautifully built up, dissolve away. There's no good resolve to it. There's no finality to it. And honestly, there's no real good finality to a lot. I know some people love a good ambiguous ending. I usually enjoy a nice ambiguous ending, an open-ended ending. However, when you just leave full characters, stories unfinished, I have a problem with that. When you just leave big major events for main characters to be told to us in a closing line monologue rather than even shown to us, it's disrespectful. The film just leaves everything out on the table without giving us anything substantial. There's a monologue that tries to wrap it up in the film's epilogue, but that's not enough, and it doesn't do enough. It leaves you feeling like, wow, we had 3.5 hours of buildup to get that as our ultimate payoff? No, I don't think. And speaking of 3.5 hours, you know we love a good discussion on film runtime. This did not need to be that long at all in any shape or form. I thought maybe once we got to the end, it would come back around and I'd understand, oh, yes, all of these moments building up had some sort of great relevance. They really were enriching to the end as it was. No, no, no. There are so many instances in this film. One that we could have cut off earlier, saved us some precious seconds in the overall edit. Two that just could have been cut in general. They didn't really inform us as much as you'd hope. Now, this is all about one man and his life that was presented through his niece's overall storytelling device, which also doesn't really make sense, but that's neither here nor there. It's far too long for this type of film, for this type of just vibes, not really a strong narrative per se, or a narrative that feels highly incomplete at the very best. It's too long, and we needed to cut it down by maybe even a full hour, to be honest with you. And it's honestly just disappointing because it's a story about an immigrant and how that immigrant experience actually manifests for so many. And that is a story primed for current day parallels. Oh, you could have done it. You could have nailed it in such a passionate, beautiful, moving way. And instead, we're delivered this distilled version that tells us things that's been told to us before, tells us things we already know just innately, inherently. And it does it in a very off-putting way, the way they choose to make some of these messages in your face and off-putting. So it's disappointing that we had a message here that could have been something powerful, and instead I was left feeling almost nothing, really just kind of incomplete, unfulfilled, walking out of the theater unfulfilled after nearly 4 hours. So that's a problem for me, and honestly, that's a problem in any type of recommendation. Now, of course, people are going to view this because it probably is going to get that Oscar love. The film folks are adoring it, they're lauding it, the best masterpiece, blah, 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 blah. My opinion, no, it's not on that level. It doesn't have the emotional heft or payoff that it needed to get it to that level. It is far too long. So if you are interested in The Brutalist, my opinion is to wait until it comes to streaming. It's more digestible in that fashion at over 3.5 hours. And I think you might enjoy yourself more watching. You might get more out of it. It's a beautifully mounted film overall, but one that unfortunately just comes up short in most other categories. So that was my review for The Brutalist. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so that you are always up to date on all of my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see The Brutalist? Let me know all of your thoughts either in that comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.